Next, you asked favorite cartoons while growing up. That's a good question. I was a '90s boy, so I was into all the crazy '90s cartoons. Like SpongeBob was one of them, but that was a little later. You got like Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's Modern Life? Why does that sound wrong? Is it Rocko's Modern Life? Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. Like Rocket Power. I even liked Rugrats. I kind of fell out of Rugrats pretty quickly, but I would watch it if it was on. Plus, the movie was really good. All the good shows before the crap that's on TV now. I'm serious. I was talking to someone the other day about how bad like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon are now. It's unbelievable. Like, I don't know. As far as I remember, the first like live action cartoon show that was about teenage problems was that show with wasn't it like Zoe something? It was with Britney Spears' daughter. And when that came out, a lot of people liked it. And since then, these cartoon networks have gotten this strange fascination with live action shows for kids. I don't know why it's such a thing now, but every time I turn on Nickelodeon, I don't think Nickelodeon is as bad. I'm not really sure. Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network really just combine in my head now. Like, I used to tell a difference. Now I don't even tell a difference anymore. Because I don't watch TV very much. But every time I turn on the TV, I'm seeing this, like, show about teenagers in school, or teenagers doing this, or teenagers doing that. And I just think to myself, why is this enjoyable for kids to watch? Like, I don't understand. It seems like that would be a teenage thing. Like, you'd be into it when you were in, like, middle or high school. But, I don't know, it's just, like, this super fascination now. When I was in middle school, I was still watching SpongeBob and crap. Like, who cares? That stuff is good no matter how old you are. But now, it's all these, like, drama shows. I don't understand why kids would be interested in drama. Maybe it's a different time. Maybe I'm too old-fashioned. I don't know what's hip nowadays. Apparently, drama is hip. But the other thing that just frustrates me to no end is that randomness is the new cool thing. And this happened, like, in the early 2000s, and it's still a thing today, where, like, someone decided that randomness is the coolest thing to do. I think it really started with Adventure Time. When Adventure Time came out, Adventure Time blew up everything. Adventure Time was the coolest thing ever. And every person that has ever written a script for a Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network show is like, oh, randomness. That's the new thing. We gotta be random. And so they came out with all these shows that are just like nothing but randomness. Like Uncle Grandpa and like all these shows. And actually I kinda like what is it? Gumball. I can't think of the name of the show. The Adventures of Gumball? The Adventures of Gumball? The something? You know what I'm talking about. But, I actually like that show. I used to watch it with my, little brother through Big Brothers Big Sisters. I used to watch that show with him all the time, and it was really good. But, you can tell, like, their goal with the show was to just be as random as humanly possible, because apparently that's what kids like now. And it's okay to do that to an extent, but when, like, every single show that I watch and every single commercial that I watch is just like, random this, random that, fire hydrant, ding dong, you're like, what in the world am I watching? And, like, I don't even understand. There's no, like, plot. It's just complete randomness. At least Adventure Time had, like, a plot. So I can't stand cartoons anymore. They're just so bad. But I used to watch. I was around at like the golden age of Nicktoons. You know, I was around when Looney Tunes were still cool. like when Looney Tunes were still shown on like popular channels. We had shows like Dexter's Laboratory, all the old Cartoon Network shows. We had the kids game shows like Legend of the Hidden Temple, right? And all those great shows. Nick Arcade, which no one remembers anymore, but was like the best show ever. Wow. And then there was something else I was gonna say. It's another show I was thinking of. No, I can't think of what it was. Had to take a drink of my coffee. My throat kind of hurts from all that talking I did. Need some coffee. But yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Toonami. I was a kid when Toonami was a big thing, and now Toonami's back, which is cool. But back in the day, Toonami was amazing. You could watch Samurai Jack. You could watch Sailor Moon, which, against my better judgment, I must tell you all that I was into Sailor Moon. I really was. And this was back before I was like, you know, old enough to like care about the boobage in the show. But this was like before I even cared about girls. I just liked the show because it was the first show that I watched that was like an action-based, plot-driven story, you know, like every anime is. But it was the first like real anime that I watched, and I'm not even into anime too much. I forgot to buy a Fire Scroll, but luckily I just picked one up. So that's pretty great. But yeah, like it was the first show that I really watched that was like a real like action-packed, plot-driven story that I could come back to every week and like see what happened next, you know? Because a lot of cartoons aren't like that. They just kind of like SpongeBob just exists in its own world, and every episode starts off with something new happening. Can I even use fire? Like I don't see it in the list. Is it because she has like too many? He has too many spells or something? That sucks. Alright, never mind. Give it to someone else. But yeah, so I was like into that, and there was so many other cool shows on Toonami. And Dragon Ball Z obviously was like so big back then, and I used to be into it. I fell out of it after the first after the Zell saga. I was like out of it. Because I wasn't too big of an anime guy. Like I watched Sailor Moon for like a few months maybe, and I watched Dragon Ball Z for a few months maybe, and then I was like right back into, you know, cartoon shows. But it was still cool while it lasted. I wish I remembered where like all the items were so I could get them really quick without running around in circles. Ooh, that's a little scary. I don't want to get poisoned. Actually, like fire would probably be better. So yeah, it was a great time, man. I have so many fond memories of Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon back in the day. And now, you know, there do exist good shows, but most of it's crap. At least against like what I'm watching now, or what I used to watch. I mean, you know, like you can't really put like Dexter's Laboratory up against Uncle Grandpa. You just look at him and you go, really? Like, it just doesn't compare, man. It doesn't compare. But you know, I think it's more of a nostalgia thing, you know? If the kids nowadays, when they grow up, they're gonna be like, that Uncle Grandpa show was pretty amazing. No one cares about the crap you're watching now. So, it's all based on nostalgia, but at least for me, and I think for a lot of people, it seems like the old cartoon shows were just so much better. And I was fortunate enough to grow up in the golden age of some amazing shows. Fairly Odd Parents is another one I love to watch. and I used to have all these inside jokes with my friends, mostly my friend Charlie, about quotes we'd have from the show, and we would like say them in school, and we'd be laughing, and everyone else would be like, "You guys are nerds." So, it's just great memories of those old shows. They were also great. I don't even remember there being too many shows that I like absolutely hated. Like when it came on, I was like, no. Like I didn't really like the drama shows, but some of them were okay. There was like Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. That was cool. I liked that sometimes. That wasn't as much of a drama show. That was like that show was in the same vein as like normal cartoons, where every episode was just a different thing going on, but it had live action. So that was okay. That like worked for me. But then there was shows like that was it Zoe 101? I feel like that's what it was. Where like it actually tried to like tell a story, and it was like, we don't want that. We're kids. We want to be able to just sit down and watch like the one episode. But maybe they were onto something, because when Toonami came along and all these shows had like storylines, we were into it. So maybe they were onto something. I know some people really did like that Zoe show. I just wasn't into it, I guess. And now like shows like iCarly and stuff, they try to milk it, and iCarly is a great show. But I think everyone agrees that those shows have their good moments and bad moments. Whereas, there's shows like SpongeBob where, like, I could watch any episode of SpongeBob and just enjoy myself. Like the other day, my cousin and I were just sitting on the couch, and we were like, we have 45 minutes before we gotta go to this thing, we have to leave, so we don't really want to start anything, so we just turn on the TV, and SpongeBob's on, and we're like, oh, we'll just watch this. And we enjoyed it thoroughly as two grown-ass men. It never gets old, man. Never gets old. And SpongeBob really did it right, because SpongeBob works for adults and for kids, and that was kind of their goal when they made the show. There's shows like Fairly Odd Parents that don't work that way. It's hard to watch Fairly Odd Parents anymore, especially since the new episodes are terrible. But even the old episodes, kind of hard to watch because there's not much adult humor. It's all kind of kiddie slapstick humor. And not only that, but they make the adults like complete idiots in Fairly Odd Parents. And that's kind of the point of the show, is like that's why he has this Fairly Odd Parents. But it's weird because it's weird watching it and being like, wow, the show is really trying to teach us how stupid our parents were. Like, that's kind of weird. Can't figure out where to go in here. I think I missed something and just walked past it because I was talking. Yes, the third question, Pablo. Least favorite Final Fantasy game or Final Fantasy character? It's hard to pick my least favorite Final Fantasy game because I haven't played them all. That's why we're doing this Let's Play. And I don't really hate any of them, even though Final Fantasy 1 really was like annoying to me. I wouldn't necessarily call it bad. I still enjoyed it. It was just aggravating at times. Where am I supposed to... I'm so confused. Oh, okay. I got it now. I don't know why. I screwed that up. Anyways, so yeah, I don't know if I really have a least. Like, I guess Final Fantasy 1 would be my least favorite that I've played so far, but that's not really saying much, because I really enjoy every Final Fantasy I've played up to this point. I'm not one of those Final Fantasy 13 haters. I actually really liked Final Fantasy 13. I really liked Final Fantasy 12. I'm glad they're doing a remake of it. That's like really cool. Or a remastered version or whatever. It's not really a remake, it's like a remastered. It's called the Zodiac Age, I think. But yeah, that's cool. I didn't really like Final Fantasy 14, but I only played the demo, so that's not really a good, like, I can't really say, like, I know a lot about it because I only played the demo. But I just don't like MMOs. So when I played it and realized that it's basically just an MMO with not too much else to offer, at least in the demo, other than MMO things, I was just like, meh, I don't really like it. And I didn't want to pay a monthly fee to play a game that I didn't absolutely love right off the bat. So, but yeah, I guess you could say that's my least favorite, but that's not really a good answer because, like I said, I only played the demo. Least favorite Final Fantasy character? That's an interesting question. I know there's been characters in the past that I hate, but I can't really think of any of them off the top of my head. There's been some characters that are kinda, like, useless. Like, I think Kate Sith is a little useless, in my opinion. Not in the actual, like, fighting, but, like, his character. Because he joins the party, and then you realize that he's Reeve, and he, you know, steals the keystone, and it's like, oh my god, he stole the keystone. But then after that, he's like, sorry guys, and then he just stays in the team. And he doesn't do anything after that. Like, the whole rest of the game, he's just like, I'm Reeve, by the way. And that's it. Like, I mean, there's like certain parts where like you get to spy in on the Shinra people because he's Reeve. But other than that, he's kind of this useless character that doesn't do much other than the one part where he steals the keystone and you're like, oh my god, he stole the keystone. So, like, he's a little annoying, and I never really understood exactly what he was. So, I guess maybe him. I know there's like NPCs too, some of them that are like really useless, and I'm like, kind of hate them, but... Okay, this is the tortoise, I think. So... I need to make sure I use magic. And I think... wall might be a good thing to use. I'll find out. Alright. So he can't use it either. I don't understand that. Oh, that's how you do it. I wonder if I can only use it once, or if it's just gone. Alright, so... Wait, wall... I want shield. Holy crap, fire 8! I have a feeling you can only use that once or something. Holy crap, shield did not do very much. Yep, I can only use it once. Well, there went that, I guess. As soon as he attacks Maria, I'm basically screwed. Okay, alright. Ooh, Gus with the critical. Take it. Can I use shield again, you think? I should use swap. Protects against special attacks. Let's do blink and see if maybe we can dodge some attacks. Maybe it's super overpowered like in Final Fantasy 1. If you've watched my, we did dodge one, so it's working. If you watched my, Final Fantasy 1 White Mage Only Challenge, which is only on my Patreon, so if you join the Patreon, you've probably seen it. I am running through the game with only White Mages. Yes! We did it! We did it. 200 gil, too. And everyone got increased things. We're running through the game with only white mages, which is like the most ridiculous thing ever because white mages are complete trash. But you can use certain things to kind of cheat. For example, if you use Blink over and over again, nothing can ever hit you. Because basically, kind of like hero drinks work in Final Fantasy VII, where you can use 4 of them and get up to double your stats, and it kind of breaks things. In Final Fantasy 1, everything is like you can stack them. So if you use Blink, you, I don't know, raise your invasion by like 50% or something, and then you use it like 3 more times, and you end up getting like 200% evasion, and nothing can ever hit you. So you kind of use that to your advantage. Kind of like using Sand Attack in the old Pokemon games, where you could just keep sand attacking Pokemon and they never hit you. But yeah, so there's a couple things you can do to like help the white mages survive. It's kind of fun. I don't want to do that. Oh. Should have just casted that on everyone, but... So, answer those questions. What else do we have? Fat Falcon asked, out of these 3, which are your favorite consoles? PS2, Xbox, or GameCube? So I'm guessing you're asking that because they all came out around the same time. That was when I was a teenager, was when those were out, like early teenager. In like middle school. Those consoles were the thing. Xbox was a little later, but I never owned an Xbox. I never liked Microsoft consoles. I always thought they were garbage. So, obviously not that one. I did own a PS2 and a GameCube, and it's really hard to pick, I gotta be honest, because the PS2 was my baby, okay? I've always been a Sony fanboy, and the PS2 I owned for like the majority of my life. Like, the PS1 I had when I was younger, and then I got a PS2, and the PS2 lasted until the PS3, which was years. And I loved it, continued to buy games for it. Okay, hello. You will not leave here alive with the Mithril. This must be the boss. Oh. What is this music? This is weird music. Kinda like it. This music is so weird. Hopefully this guy doesn't just like completely wreck me. Ooh, Bolt does good damage. No, he didn't even attack. What the heck? Oh, Gus. Gus seems like the tank, but at the same time, like, he seems to take a ton of damage. He has a lot of health, but it seems like he takes a lot of damage too. It's weird. Zap. That's my last bolt that I got. Alright. We're doing it. Yeah! With the last bolt we had. So her MP went up, but I didn't get any, did I? Nope, so it's 0. She's up to 26 though, that's pretty nice. Mithril. We did it! Is there secrets up here? Secrets? That would have been a good place to hide some secrets. This is just an empty room, I'm guessing. crap. That's a lot of enemies. So anyways, like I was saying, the PS2 was like my entire childhood. I own more PS2 games than like any other console, you know, and I don't know, PS2 is just my thing, man. A lot of my favorite games are on PS2. A lot of the games I grew up with, PS2 games, you know, and like I said, I had like the biggest collection of PS2 games because it was the console that I owned for the longest period of time, at least growing up. We even went through like 3 PS2s. So yeah, the PS2 is like my baby. But I also had a GameCube, and although the GameCube I didn't own very many games for, that's the thing, I only owned like 10 games for the GameCube, but like 9 of those 10 games were like some of my favorite games I ever played. Metroid Prime, the Super Monkey Ball, Super Mario Sunshine. I mean, the list goes on. There's so many incredible GameCube games of my childhood that like I would take over almost any PS2 game any day of the week. So it's kind of hard to pick which one's my favorite, but I think the PS2 would probably be my favorite because it's more of a nostalgia factor for me than the GameCube. The only thing that really the GameCube had over the PS2 was you know, when friends would come over, we'd usually play the GameCube, not the PS2, because the GameCube had more party games. We had Super Monkey Ball, we had Super Mario Party, we had the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle with like the racing and stuff. We had Mario Kart, you know, all the party games, because Nintendo's all about the party. And it's true, when people come over, GameCube's a lot nicer to play with friends. Super Smash Bros. Melee, of course, how can I forget that? You know, that was like a staple of my childhood. So many friends, you know, would come over and it would be like, we would have tournaments and stuff. I mean, that was the thing. So, a lot of great memories with the GameCube. But I think the PS2, you know, was more of my baby. You know, when I was home playing games, it would always be the PS2. So, I guess I'd have to say the PS2. Plus, I'm a Sony fanboy. I always have been. That's just... Ever since, you know, it's one of those things where I grew up on Sony. My dad bought a PS1, and it changed my life, and I never looked back. You know? I'm actually going to run from this because I'm out of magic. These things don't really take any damage from anything other than magic. If I can even run. I don't think I've ever run away from a fight before yet in this game. Like, it never works. Like, what the heck? Run! At least in Final Fantasy I, the fleeing worked, like, really well. It's ridiculous.